Mr. and Mrs. Walter Knott had a dream, and with that dream they took a few acres of boysenberries, a little money, lots of courage, and they built a lasting and living monument to the Old West, Knott's Berry Farm. Today it remains as a faithful reminder of those pioneering days that created that spirit of courage and faith within a new nation that led it to greatness. Mr. and Mrs. Knott stand in front of the original berry stand where it all began. But my, how that modest beginning has grown. Until now it covers 150 acres, America's oldest themed park. In fact, it could be called Knott's Old Time Adventures, for it's a nostalgic trip back through our nation's past. It is indeed a true gold mine of entertainment and education for young people of all ages, with more than 100 rides and attractions aimed at recapturing the charms of favorite times in Western history. But now let's get on with our thrilling tour of the famous farm, for even if we hurry, it'll take us all day to just take a quick look at all those great major family attractions. First, let's visit the quaint Old West ghost town that originally made Knott's famous and still remains the heart and soul of the farm. Here you can become an honest-to-goodness sourdough. You can pan for real gold in a real sluice box at the gold mine, and you can take home all the gold that you pan. As you wander through the picturesque streets of Ghost Town, you'll come upon a typical scene from the days of the Old West, Boot Hill Cemetery. From the wooden boardwalk set with square nails, you can sometimes see prospectors, gamblers, lively ladies who lived a century ago, and realistic gun battles performed by what seems to be authentic gunfighters from a bygone era. In the barber shop, lifelike mannequins stare back at you with such realism that you'll swear they live and breathe. Every detail has been so carefully reproduced. The story of the Old West is the lifeblood of Knott's Berry Farm, and an important part of that story is transportation over rugged trails. Those were adventurous times. If you've ever longed to relive those romantic days and ride atop a careening old stagecoach drawn by a team of 4 spirited horses, then here's your chance, because at Knott's you can do just that. By now you sure ought to be feeling that old spirit of the West, and by the time you get to Calico Saloon, you should be convinced that you've been magically transported back in time 100 years, where you'll see prospectors, saddlebags full of gold dust, drinking sarsaparilla at the bar, the old-time piano player banging away, and a pair of dancing girls whooping it up doing the can-can. Close by the Calico Saloon is the blacksmith shop. Here we'll find the blacksmith hard at work at his authentic forge. This shop actually stood on a nearby farm for many years before it was moved to Ghost Town in 1940. As you continue your leisurely stroll through these exciting streets, you'll come upon a genuine original calliope. The player's melody is heard far and wide. The stores, shops, and various buildings that you find here are not only authentic reproductions, but in many cases, they're the real thing, painstakingly taken apart in the backcountry and reassembled here at Knott's for your enjoyment. This old red schoolhouse is one example. It actually was a real, live, one-room school back in Kansas in the 1870s. A present-day schoolmarm dressed in the costume of yesterday sits at her desk and teaches you what it was like 100 years ago. Folks climbing aboard the Ghost Town Calico train may not know it, but they're about to embark on the only narrow-gauge passenger train operating in the United States on a year-round basis. This famous train, built in 1881, was the first that dared go through the tortuous Rocky Mountains. She's the ardent love of children, the delight of adults, and a proud reminder of those wonderful yesterdays. As you continue along the main street, you may wander into the general store stocked with all the goodies of the past. Very likely you'll find a group of old-timers sitting around the pot-bellied stove spinning yarns of days long gone by. Or further down Main Street, an old spinning wheel is still spinning its magic thanks to the skill of this lovely lady. And of course, there are the Indians, dressed very colorfully, just waiting for you and your camera to come along so they can pose. Then there are the old-time prospectors with their burro fully loaded for their trip on to nowhere. It's all for your enlightenment and enjoyment. As you explore the fascinating streets of the old ghost town, you probably will come upon this antique boron train, fondly known as Old Betsy. You'll thrill to Knott's famous Timberline Mountain Log Ride as you shoot through a 2,100-foot waterway and down perilous passages deep within the mountain in a hollowed-out log at speeds of 8 to 12 feet per second. During your trip, you'll see an authentic 1800 sawmill, for that's what this ride is really all about. You'll find out what it's like to be a log as you bump gently along past woodsmen at work in the trees, and as shouts of "Timber" ring in your ears. You will suddenly descend into inky blackness, then emerge into an underground grotto amid a beautiful nature setting. Just as your nerves seem settled after all the excitement, you will go hurtling down the mountain in a sluice with screams of excitement echoing around you. Calico Square is the very heart of Knott's Berry Farm. Surrounding this large open area is a vast assortment of major and minor attractions. Here you may take a trip through the Grand Canyon aboard the ghost town Calico Railroad. Its train was actually robbed by Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Nearby, there's an undertaking parlor for the unfortunates. It is run by Phineas J. Mortimer, whose motto is, "Your best friend, the last one to let you down." But also, here at Calico Square is where another of the great adventures of Knott's Berry Farm awaits you, where you can climb aboard the famous Calico Mine train and see the workings of a great mine. As you clamber aboard, your engineer will explain in detail everything that you'll see and hear in the exciting tunnels far below, and that includes caverns and waterfalls. Your train descends deeper and deeper into the forbidding mines, past streams of gushing water and waterfalls, through awesomely beautiful caverns filled with stalactites and stalagmites. As you round a bend, you'll be startled by the overwhelming sight that appears before you. It is the glory hole, authentic, complete in the finest detail. Why, even the miners are hard at work tunneling and mining ore by the dim light of their lanterns. But then comes the most shattering moment of your trip, for suddenly the ceiling creaks, the great beams split apart, and debris showers down. The cave-in warning sounds shrilly, and the engineer opens up to full throttle, and just in time, for you have narrowly escaped a major cave-in. It's so realistic that it's hard to believe that it was all staged for your enjoyment. As you enter Fiesta Village, the mood shifts from excitement to peaceful lakeside serenity, with pink flamingos and brightly colored flowers everywhere. Here on the El Camino Real, you may walk through early California history, past miniature replicas of 21 California missions. Marion Knott designed Fiesta Village as a tribute to the charm of early California, where visitors may stroll to the music of mariachis, browse through open-stalled flower and gift markets, ride giant whirling sombreros, enjoy delicious, authentic south-of-the-border dishes, and nightly fireworks displays on the lake. And do the children delight in visiting the animal farm and its wide assortment of interesting and exciting creatures. If you're looking for absolute tranquility and beauty, nothing at the farm can top the Church of the Reflections. You'll find it located among stately trees and flowering gardens on the bank of a peaceful lake. It's a striking recreation of an early American period church, with its stained glass window of Christ dominating the interior. Now, just a few years ago, your visit to the farm would be almost complete by now. But Knott's Berry Farm is constantly growing, and in 1975 opened a third old-time adventure area, the Roaring Twenties. And it really is all that its name implies. The first major attraction open to the guests in this new adventure area was the world's first corkscrew. It is one of the most incredible rides you'll ever experience. A wild roller coaster that sends you up a towering hill, then straight down at 45 miles per hour, then whirls you around and around, upside down, in two 360-degree loops. It's an experience you'll never forget. The Roaring Twenties are literally filled with exciting things to see and do. There are rides and more rides, and they're all something special. Many found no place else in the world. The new Montezooma's Revenge is a prime example. This mammoth ride features two towers over 100 feet in height and a complete 360-degree loop. A truly thrilling ride. At the Charleston Circle, you'll see slapsticks performing their comedy routines on the streets. You can experience vaudeville as the Twenties roar again. Hear the Bathtub Gin Gang, jazz, ragtime piano, and the spiffy saxes. The Roaring Twenties also has the largest game room west of the Mississippi, with even games of chance. One of the most delightful experiences of your life awaits you with a trip through Knott's Berry Tales, a fantasy journey with over 200 animated characters. You'll ride on miniature trolley cars and see the Berry family making jams, jellies, and pies. Your travels will take you into Frog Forest, complete with toadstool houses and a frog jumping contest. Then on through Gypsy Camp, where hallucinations, magic tricks, and even a TV crystal ball abound. Next is a scary cave, and then weird woods filled with fantastic creatures. Finally, you arrive at a spectacular country fair just in time to see the Berries win first prize and take a hot air balloon ride. Now, to top all this, the Knott family opened a great new 5.5-acre area to add to the Roaring Twenties Adventure Park. One of the latest being the Wacky Soapbox Derby. It's designed along the lines of the classic Soapbox Derby and features 4 cars starting abreast so that each rider competes against the others. Special effects make this ride a barrel of fun. Still, the most fantastic achievement of the airfield is the 235-foot Sky Tower. This gigantic tower, the tallest of its kind in the world, has 12 sky jump parachutes and a sky cabin that revolves 360 degrees as it travels up and down the tower's height. There's no greater thrill than to drop in the controlled jump parachute baskets and view the countryside. Why, sometimes you can even see Catalina as you descend to the ground. Of all the many major attractions of the farm, none is more inspiring than the magnificent replica of our nation's most cherished building, Independence Hall. This was Walter Knott's most cherished achievement. Even the 140,000 bricks used in its construction are exact replicas of the ones used in the building of the original hall in Philadelphia. Inside, you can hear an authentic recreation of the debate that occurred in the assembly room among the 56 brave men who signed our Declaration of Independence. In the tower room, sitting majestically on its cherry red pedestal, is the 2,075-pound Liberty Bell. Again, carefully recreated in every detail. As dusk settles its cloak over Independence Hall, our visit to Knott's Berry Farm draws to a close. Despite its recent great growth, the farm continues to develop. New projects are already in the works. Its many new additions have made it one of the most popular family attractions in the world, and it's our nation's third largest. But just think back a few years and remember that it all started with a young couple, a little berry stand, a little money, and lots of courage. Nowhere in this vast land of ours is there a better example of what our American freedom and ingenuity can accomplish.